So, my perverted husband said I should do this naked. That way I would get more subscribers. I'm like, no, we're talking books here. We don't do that kind of stuff on this channel. We just read books and we talk about books. We enjoy books. We don't do that other stuff. He can have that in his imagination. But no, we don't do that stuff. We just read books and we talk about books. Right, Sandy? We just talk about books. We just read books. So, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, even without the adult stuff. And it's nice to meet you. I'm Christina, K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is the D. Louise Book Series channel, where we read books and talk about books. No special effects, no other funny business going on here. Don't forget Star Trek Next Generation recap on Fridays. Also, if then on Fridays, if you like this author, then maybe you like that author. And Flashback Mondays, where I have my Romantic Times book review magazine, and I go through and I pick 30, I pick at least 5 from each, if I can find them. Historical romance, inspirational, contemporary romance, mystery, romantic suspense, paranormal, erotica, and harlequin. We do them all. So if you're looking for a new author, it's where to go. So anyway, this is If Then Friday. If you like this author, then maybe you like this author. And this was a mistake. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Sandy, help mommy find a book. Mommy lost a book. Oops, she lost more than that. Okay. So, this was kind of an accident. I didn't plan on doing this one, but it just happened. And I was like, okay, I might as well just go with this one and do the other ones next week and the week after. So I was thinking about the Tom Cruise film, The Firm, You Can't Handle the Truth, Jack Nicholson, the whole lawyer courtroom thing. So I thought I'd start. If you like Mr. John Grisham, this is the book that comes after The Firm. And it says, what became of Mitch and Abby McDear after they exposed the crimes of Memphis law firm Benedy, Lambert, and Locke and fled the country? The answer is In the Exchange, the riveting sequel to The Firm, the blockbuster thriller that launched the career of America's favorite storyteller. It's now 15 years later, and Mitch and Abby are living in Manhattan, where Mitch is a partner at the largest law firm in the world. When a mentor in Rome asks him for a favor that will take him as far as Istanbul and Tripoli, Mitch finds himself at the center of a sinister plot that has worldwide implications. Once again, Mitch's colleagues and friends and family are targeted. Mitch is a master at staying one step ahead of his adversaries, but this time there's nowhere to hide. I gotta fix the sun. What are you doing, Miss Annie? What are you eating? Are you eating a book? I don't know. I don't see nothing. So, our second lawyer of the day is James Chandler, Misjudged. Sam Johnstone was hoping for renewal when he took a job at a boutique law firm in rustic Wyoming. The mountains and the streams of the West would be a refreshing, quiet place to start over after years of war and turmoil in his personal life. But after a local woman is brutally murdered, Sam realizes that things aren't so quiet in this rural American town. The accused is one Tommy Olson, a known delinquent who had been sleeping with the victim. Sam is repulsed by the crime and wants nothing to do with the case, but meets with Tommy to make sure he has his legal representation. Yet things are not as they seem. What begins as a cut-and-dry case becomes infinitely more complicated as new facts are uncovered, and Sam agrees to serve as Tommy's defense attorney. With the killer's identity still unknown, Sam is enveloped in a small-town politics and the courtroom drama of a murder investigation that keeps getting more shocking. But if Sam can't uncover the truth, an innocent man might be punished, while the real killer watches from the shadows. She's what? I can't move my computer too much because my computer is being held together by a binder clip. If you didn't know this already. The bottom separated, so I can't do too much. But I'm sorry for the noise. There you go. There she is. She's watching from the foreground. Just back down. I have to also find a mouse pad. I have like 5 or 6 mouse pads in this house, and I can't find a single one. It's when you're looking for something, you can't find it. When you stop looking is when you find it. It's like, that's why there's going to be a homicide if then part 2, and a forensics if then part 2 also. Because when I stopped looking for the books, I found a slew I want to do. And that's what happens. And while I was looking for them, I found the lawyers. Michael Cordell, condemned. Playing by the rules landed him on death row. Now he'll have to break all the rules to survive. After spending 5 years in jail for a murder he didn't commit, lawyer Thane Banning agrees to take on a case defending a former inmate against the same DA who put Thane behind bars. Yes, ma'am. Thane is besieged by death threats from the alleged victim's father and a tidal wave of public outrage following his release, not to mention the corrupt DA who has a grudge to settle. But he doesn't have much time to think about his personal problems because the case is turning into a nasty fight. Luckily, prison taught Thane a thing or two about survival in a world full of criminals. The last time he played by the rules in court, he landed on death row. This time he'll have to break more than a few rules to come out of this battle unscathed. Rebecca Foster, hostile witness. 16-year-old Hannah Sheraton is arrested for murder of her step-grandfather, the chief of the California Supreme Court. Her distraught mother turns to old college roommate Josie Bates for help. Josie, once a hotshot criminal defense attorney, left the fast track behind for a small practice in Hermosa Beach, California. But Hannah Sheraton intrigues her, and when the girl is charged as an adult, Josie cannot turn her back. But the deeper she digs, the more Josie realizes the politics, the law, and family relationships have created a combustible and dangerous situation. When the horrible truth of the murder is uncovered, it could save Hannah or destroy them. Robin James, burden of proof. To defend her client, she must dig up a town's darkest secrets. Defense attorney Cassie Leary thought she'd escaped her hometown for good, but after leaving her high-paying job in Chicago, she decides to revisit her troubled past. When someone murders the beloved high school basketball coach and Cass steps in to defend the girl accused of the crime, she doesn't expect the death threats that follow. Confronting the town that shunned her as a child, she unearths secrets that some would kill to keep buried. After her client confesses to the crime, Cass detects a widespread cover-up. If she doesn't get to the bottom of it soon, the next fatalities may be the one she loves. Victor METHOS, the neon lawyer. With money and hope in short supply, newly minted Brigham Theodore decides it's time to lower his standards. He joins a seedy fly-by-night firm in Salt Lake City out of desperation. After he loses his first case, a speeding ticket, he's convinced his career is over. But to his shock, his boss hands him a slightly more complex case: capital murder. Brigham's new client is Amanda Pierce, a lost, exhausted woman who gunned down the man who tortured and killed her 6-year-old daughter. A jury may prove sympathetic to her unbearable pain, but the law is no fan of vigilante justice, and neither is Vince Dale, the slick and powerful prosecutor who's never lost a murder case. There's no question that Amanda pulled the trigger. She did it in front of 5 witnesses. If she pleads guilty, she'll avoid a death sentence. But her life this way comes with an admission that what she did was wrong. However, she refuses the guilty label. Time to go to court. Scott Pratt, an innocent client. A preacher is found brutally murdered in Tennessee motel room. A beautiful, mysterious young girl is accused. In this mystery, defense lawyer Joe Dillard has become jaded over the years as he's tried to balance his career against his conscience. Savvy but cynical, Dillard wants to quit doing criminal defense, but he can't resist the chance to represent someone who might actually be innocent. His drug-addicted sister has been released from prison, and his mother is succumbing to Alzheimer's. But Dillard's commitment to the case never wavers despite the personal troubles and professional demands that threaten to destroy him. Every Reasonable Double by Pamela Samuels Young. When attorneys Veneta and Nettie are tapped to take on the biggest case of their careers, they are less than thrilled about working together. Their strained relationship, however, is the least of their problems. Their socialite client, charged with the brutal murder of her husband, is demanding an immediate dismissal of the case. But a ruthless prosecutor is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. Forced to fight a common enemy, the two women close ranks in the process, develop a bond, and see what happens. Sheldon SIEGEL, Special Circumstances. Meet Mike Daly, ex-priest, ex-public defender, and as of yesterday, ex-partner in one of San Francisco's most prominent law firms. Today, he's out on his own, setting up the practice on the wrong side of town. Then his best friend and former colleague is charged with brutal double murder, and Daly is instantly catapulted into a high-profile investigation involving the law firm that just fired him. As he prepares the case, Daly uncovers the firm's dirtiest secrets. It doesn't take long for him to discover that in this trial, ambition, friendship, and greed will play just as important role as truth and justice. Okay, and Scott TUROW, Innocent. Hailed as the most suspenseful and compelling novel in decades, Presumed Innocent brings to life our worst nightmare, that of an ordinary citizen facing conviction for the most terrible of all crimes. It's a stunning portrayal of one man's all too human, all too consuming fatal attraction for a passionate woman who is not his wife. Where have we seen that movie before? Oh, I've got to sneeze. Okay. Stephen James, Every Crooked Path, The Bauer Files. A mysterious suicide and a series of abductions draw Patrick into a web of intrigue involving an international conspiracy where no one is who they appear to be and the stakes have never been higher. Soon Patrick discovers that the secret to stopping Piper's current crime spree lies in unlocking answers at an 8-year-old cold case, and the only way to do that is by entering the terrifying world of the conspirators himself. Who cried? Somebody cried. Come here, Sandy. Come here, we got more books to do. We got more books. Come on, join Mommy in the books. Greg Iles, The Devil's Punch Bowl. Got 4.5 stars. Bessel Iles has come up with an electrifying novel of sex, violence, and political corruption in a small southern town. Terrifyingly, because of its real possibilities, the suspense, satisfying, and riveting read will keep you up in the wee hours. Former Houston prosecutor Penn Cage now has even a more difficult job, mayor of his hometown of Natchez, Mississippi. The city is fading from its former glory and, like many in Mississippi, has turned to casino gambling on steamboats to raise revenue. But rumor has it that the Magnolia Queen is turning to new entertainment to bring in international high rollers, dogfighting, and dark sexual practices. Trying to get the goods on the perpetrators, Penn inadvertently ends up putting his life and his family's safety on the line as he finds corruption among local authorities. He can count on the help of only a handful of people in a bloody battle of wits against men who will do anything to keep the money. Uh-oh. Robert Bailey, the professor. Thomas Jackson McTurtry is a living legend scorned 40 years ago. He gave up a promising career as a trial lawyer to become a law professor at the University of Alabama at the request of his mentor, Alabama football coach Paul Bear Bryant. Now Tom is forced into retirement, betrayed by both a powerful colleague and his own failing health. Meanwhile, the young family of one of the oldest friends is killed in a tragic road collision. Believing his career is over, Tom refers the case to a brilliant yet beleaguered former student who begins to uncover the truth behind the tragedy buried in a tangled web of arson, bribery, and greed. Ah, I hate when this stuff is covered up. Harry O'Shaughnessy, motion to suppress. I should have looked it up if the background is a nice map. Barely a week before Nina Riley had been happily married San Francisco lawyer. Suddenly, she's single parent opening a shoestring practice in Lake Tahoe. And now Nina finds herself embroiled in a case that's going to change everything she believes about law. It's going to rock everything Misty Patterson believes about herself, and it's going to give both women a look at the damning piece of evidence that will change their faith in each other or give them their one and only chance to win. Interesting. A criminal defense. William L. Myers. When a young reporter is found dead and a prominent Philadelphia businessman is accused of murder, Mick McFarland finds himself involved in the case of his life. The defendant, David Hansen, was Mick's close friend in law school, and the victim, a TV news reporter, had reached out to Mick for legal help only hours before her death. Mick played both sides of Philadelphia courtrooms as a top-shelf defense attorney and a former prosecutor. He knows all the tricks of the trade, and he'll need every one of them to win. But as the case progresses, he's disturbed by developments that confirm his deepest fears. This trial, one that already hits too close to home, may jeopardize his firm, his family, and everything he holds dear. A lawyer, husband, father, the defense. Con artist, hustler, criminal. Stephen CAVANAGH. Former con artist turned lawyer Eddie Flynn vowed never to step in a courtroom again after a disastrous case. But now he doesn't have a choice. The head of the Russian mob in New York City, on trial for murder, has kidnapped Eddie's 10-year-old daughter. Eddie has to take the case whether he likes it or not. The mobsters have given up on convincing a jury, so they want Eddie to smuggle a bomb into the courtroom to take out the prosecutor's untouchable star witness. Luckily, Eddie still has his old skills and some old pals, and even under the intense scrutiny of his client, the judge and the FBI, he thinks he might just be able to actually win this case and save his daughter and himself. The new one, Stacey Abrams, While Justice Sleeps. A very keen, a brilliant young law clerk from the legendary Justice Howard Wynne is doing her best to hold her strained personal life together. But when the shocking news breaks that Justice Wynne, the cantankerous swing vote on the court, has slipped into a coma, Avery's life turns upside down. She learns that Wynne has appointed her to serve as his legal guardian and hold his power of attorney, plunging her into an explosive role she never anticipated. Avery finds that Justice Wynne has been secretly researching one of the most controversial cases before the court, a proposed merger between an American biotech company and an Indian genetics firm, which promises to unleash breathtaking results in the medical field. She also discovers that Wynne suspected a dangerous conspiracy was infiltrating the highest power quarters of Washington. A political wrangling intensifies to replace the ailing judge. Avery begins to unravel the carefully constructed chess-like sequence of clues Wynne left behind for her. His labyrinth puzzle threatens to lead Avery directly into harm's way and a stunning truth. This is what started it. I spotted the Stacey Abrams book first. Lisa Scottoline, Betrayed. 4 stars. Scottoline's latest Russo and Associates novel takes the reader on a fast-paced thrill ride. The mystery is carefully plotted with intense action. Judy's motivation makes sense even as the risks increase. The personal issues she confronts make her character likable and intriguing. Lawyer Judy Carrier finds herself at a turning point in her life when her aunt's caretaker and best friend, an undocumented worker, is found dead. Suspecting foul play, Judy begins questioning the other members of the undocumented population. Along with the investigation, she has some conflict with her boyfriend. There's tension at the law office, and a family revelation impacts her life. Interesting. Four stars, Dark of Day. When a young model goes missing, high-profile defense attorney C.J. Dunn delivers into the seedy and sexy world of Miami Beach to find a killer. The characters come alive in this intensely plotted mystery where everyone carries a secret and appearances can be deceiving. C.J. defends a U.S. Congressman chauffeur, Rick Slater, the last person to see Elena Martin, a young model, alive at a party. When the case switches from missing person to homicide, C.J. needs to find the woman Slater drove home that night to clear him of Elena's murder. Soon, C.J. learns she may be chasing a woman who she already knows, a teenage runaway who may be in serious danger herself. Meanwhile, C.J.'s socialite boyfriend, Billy Medina, afraid of damaging his own reputation, is reluctant to help her. See what happens. Oh, I have 2 leases, so we'll do both of them. The same group, but I have both of them, so I might as well just do both. Accused, 4 stars. Scottoline brings back fan favorite law firm Risotto and Associates in this troubling mystery that pits a precious young girl against her parents and an idealistic attorney against, well, everybody. The attorneys of Risotto and Associates are celebrating Mary DiNozio's promotion to partner when 13-year-old Allegra, a member of the wealthy and influential Gardner family, walks in. She wants someone to investigate the 6-year-old murder of her sister. Allegra believes that the man convicted of the crime is innocent and wants to find the real killer against her parents' wishes. That sounds good. If you were alive during the OJ time, you might recognize this name. Marcia Clark, 4.5 stars. If you haven't caught up with Clark's Racial Night series, this is the perfect installment for you to jump in. Readers get a real treat with this dramatic rip from the headline story that has a seriously sick twist, a gusty heroine, and a fascinating supporting characters and touches of realism. The competition demonstrates that Clark years behind the prosecution's table allow her to take her stories from entertaining to riveting. Los Angeles District Attorney Rachel Knight is investigating a Columbine-style shooting at a San Francisco San Fernando Valley High School with her bestie LAPD detective Bailey Keller. As they look into the mass shooting and the apparent suicides of the two assassins, Rachel is noticing that the facts don't add up and the two dead teens might not be the killers. But then who is responsible? Where are they and what are they planning? As the investigation continues, a twisted game of murder nearly takes Rachel down. Two more. The Crossing, 4.5 stars. Harry Bosch's visit to the dark side from retired cop to Lincoln lawyer Mickey Haller's investigation makes for fascinating reading in Connelly's latest. His self-condemnation leads him into an unexpected territory. This adds dimension to the story as he occasionally butts heads with Haller. They are often stymied in their quest to solve the multiple crimes. Hal is defending a client he believes is innocent of rape and murder. He wants his half-brother Bosch to help him on the case. Despite Harry's protest of conflict of interest, Harry's troubled by the solid DNA evidence against the defendant, Dwan Clem Foster. After Haller pleads with Bush, he becomes more intrigued. He asks to see the murder book, as has been his habit for 30 years. Anomalies in the book convince Bosch to speak with Foster. Presenting the young man with a damning evidence, he's leaning towards the man's innocence based upon Foster's reaction. And our final lawyer book. The X. Oh, wait a minute. Oops. I got the wrong thing. Oh, well. The book doesn't match the thing. I should have looked. So I'll just read. The last one got 4 stars. So this is Never Tell. I got the wrong title, but it's still the same author, same subject. 17-year-old Julia Whitmore appeared to have everything: a famous father, a luxurious Manhattan townhouse, a coveted spot at the elite Hazen prep school when she is found dead in her bathtub. A handwritten suicide note left on her bed. Her parents insist that their daughter would never take her life. But Julia's inevitable world was more complicated than it seemed. The pressure to excel at Casadin was enormous. Abuse of prescription antidepressants and HDHD medication ran rapid among the students. An unlabeled bottle of pills in Julia's purse suggests she had succumbed to the trend. And search of Julia's computer reveals that in days leading up to her death, she was engaged in a dangerous game of cyberbullying against an unlikely victim. NYPD Detective Ellie Hatcher is convinced the case is a suicide, but she knows from personal experience that a loving family can be the last to accept the truth when the Whitmores use their power to force a criminal investigation. So I got the right author, but the wrong book. This is going to be for my detective series. Her other series, the one I pulled out, was The X, and that was by Alastair Burke. And it says, the suspense novel explores how perceptions can color your view of a person's characters and action. Suspense builds as facts are slowly revealed, along with the truth and lies. Criminal attorney Olivia Randall receives a desperate call from her daughter of an old boyfriend, Jack. He's been arrested for shooting deaths of 3 people. Although Olivia hasn't seen Jack for decades, she can't believe that he would kill anyone, and she takes the case. So there you go. There are all the lawyer books for this week. We're going to be doing CIA in a couple weeks, and I plan on doing FBI in a couple weeks. And don't forget to go back and check out the forensics. I'll be doing another one of those, another homicide one in a couple weeks down the line. Don't forget to check out, we just did vampires, hot vampires. I'm also gathering up hot for the summer. And go back and watch the first one, If Then, that I did. If you like the Bridgertons, you might like Joanna Lindsay's Mallory's, and if anybody deserves to be on Netflix, it's Stephanie Lawrence's Sinsters. There's over 30 books in those. There's over 30 books in that series, and your characters are recurring. So in one book, they may be the main front stage character, and the next books, they're backup characters. But the characters, the whole family, the whole organization, all 30 books, they eventually show up. So those are really worth checking out if you're a Bridgerton fan. And I hope you enjoyed my lawyer spiel. I hope you will go back and check out the forensics one I did, the homicide one I did, that I'm going to do another one, and all the other if thens, and don't forget Star Trek Fridays and Flashback Mondays. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe, even though I'm wearing all my clothes, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.